The year is 1997. It's just about the time there is the big clamor for mobile phones in Kenya. And there was basically the telecom that was issuing those huge mobile phones that used to be available then for the high and the might. And then there was Airtel. Then Airtel, I think it was called Celtel, that was also doing the work then. And then now came in a new kid on the block. It's called Safaricom. So its inception was in 1997. And what I want us to look at today is the number of CEOs that Safaricom has had and the growth they have instigated or what they have achieved in the various years. So number one, this is all about leadership. And it's all about strategies, number two, and it's all about the results that you can achieve as a leader. So let's take a look at examples, real life examples under the Safaricom brand. Number one, there was Michael Joseph, who was the CEO of Safaricom between 1999 and the year 2020. He was the founding CEO of Safaricom, and he was really known for saying that Kenyans have a peculiar calling habit. Someone who just pick up a call and just call somebody without having any agenda. They just speak. And he saw Safaricom's rapid growth, but I'll be talking about that just later on. And of course, the launch of the M-Pesa, the revolutionary mobile money service that has caused ripples around the African and the world in general, African market and the world in general. And of course, number two, there is the late Bob Collymore, who served between the year 2010 and the year 2019. He was a British businessman, Guyanese-born British businessman. And his biggest contribution was strengthening the Safaricom's social impact growth and also expansion in data and mobile money services. Well, sadly, he passed away in July 2019 after a long battle with cancer. And that saw the coming in of Michael Joseph again as the acting CEO, just to oversee the transition between Bob Collymore and the next CEO. And Michael Joseph acted as the CEO between July 2019 and April 2020. And of course, came in the current serving CEO, Peter Ndegwa, who has served there between April 2020 to date. And as of today, he's still there. And he's the first Kenyan CEO of Safaricom. Now, his focus is more on digital transformation and regional expansion because he launched the expansion to Ethiopia, and of course, innovation. So let's just dig a little bit deeper on what these CEOs have achieved over time, and and I will look at each one of them individually. Let us start with the founding CEO, Michael Joseph, 1999 to 2010. His leadership style was that of a visionary and transformational kind of a leader. He is known for being a risk taker, an innovator, and a customer-focused CEO. That is what he was known for. His approach was built from the ground up, or building from the ground up. So he started Safaricom from being a startup company to becoming a market leader in Kenya and in Africa in general. Of course, number two, he emphasized on customer satisfaction, and he was famously championing the phrase, customer is king. Always use that phrase all over. So he used to use it a lot. And then he drove the transformational change through M-Pesa, despite a lot of skepticism on mobile money then. So he created a passionate, mission-driven culture centered around local problems with local solutions. And he was known for saying, I am not Kenyan by birth, but I'm Kenyan by choice, highlighting his deep commitment to the company and the country. That is Michael Joseph for you. What other key highlights can I talk about under him? And number one is that under Michael Joseph, the Safaricom subscription grew from below 20,000 people to a whopping 16 million subscribers, Safaricom. Number two, his revenue growth. The revenue growth grew between 2 billion to 80 billion Kenya shillings. What were his key achievements? Number one, M-Pesa launch. Number two, under him, Safaricom went through the IPO, initial public offer, and it was an amazing one. I worked under that Safaricom initial public offer, and it was amazing how people bought shares then. And then also he achieved the market leadership in mobile money. Yeah, so that is Michael Joseph for you. Then we're going to look at his predecessor, who was Bob Collymore, serving between 2010 and 2019. His leadership style is thought to be that of servant and ethical. He was the guy who was seen riding matatus, becoming a conductor in a matatu. He was really with the people. So his key traits are empathetic, inclusive, and purpose-driven. What was his approach? He was more focused on corporate social responsibility, integrity, and inclusive growth. In fact, under him, Safaricom Foundation became one of the greatest foundations in the country and probably in the continent. And we are also told that he did prioritize employee well-being and diversity. So he included a lot of local talent in development, a local talent in product development. That was Bob Collymore. And he also made sure that Safaricom was felt in the education, health, and disaster responsiveness. Yeah. And he was also known to have this kind of open office. So you could walk into his office if you are an employee easily without having to book appointments and all those kind of things. But he also maintained a very high corporate governance standard. That is Bob Collymore for you, the late Bob Collymore. What was the statement that he was known for? He was known for the statement that read, "Profit and purpose can coexist," emphasizing his belief in ethical capitalism. So what did he achieve? Quickly, Bob Collymore took the subscription growth of Safaricom from 16 million, that we picked up from Michael Joseph, to 31 million subscription. And then he took the revenue growth from 83 billion at his time of joining Safaricom to a whopping 250 billion Kenya shillings. And his key achievements were M-Pesa scale-up, a lot of CSR, customers brought in the 4G, and a strong profit growth. Bob Collymore for you. Then came back Michael Joseph after the demise of Bob Collymore. And his strategy this time round was stabilizing and transitional. He was tasked with making sure that Safaricom transitions to the new CEO after the demise of the previous one. Long born with battle, may he rest in peace. I used to like Bob Collymore. And his approach was that of a steady hand following Collymore's, of course, passing. And he was focused on business continuity, supporting internal leadership, and preparing the organization for the next phase. We will not stay there much because we've already talked about him earlier on. And we move on to the current serving CEO, who is Peter Ndegwa. And what is his leadership style? It's thought to be strategic and execution focused. So his key traits are very analytical in thinking. He's also forward thinking and very grounded. That is what people think of him. His approach. How is he approaching leading Safaricom? The people who work there can tell us better, but this is what I think. Being the first Kenyan CEO, I think he has focused a lot on local empowerment and cultural alignment. That is Ndegwa. And but I can also see there's a lot of digital transformation and regional expansion, particularly in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia, I think, is doing very well for Safaricom. I'm not sure, they can tell us. And he also launched products tailored for the youth. He has launched products tailored to the youth and micro businesses. It looks like he advocates a lot for data-driven decision making and innovation to a new scale, a new level of scale, you know. And the other thing that I found out is that he has strong emphasis on agility and commercial execution. So far, how has Safaricom fared under Mr. Peter Ndegwa? The subscribers have grown from 31 million to 42 million, including Ethiopia. And his revenue growth has already grown from 250 B to 310 billion as of last year. So his key achievement so far, and I believe he's going to achieve way more than this, is the Ethiopian launch, digital strategy, and the 5G plans. And the guy is called Peter Ndegwa. Have a lot of respect for this man. So if you look at these leadership styles for Safaricom, you will see where Safaricom has moved from. There is the steady growth between when it started and where it is right now, being the biggest and the most profitable company in the country under the telecommunication. So Safaricom and its leadership is a good example of where leadership or how leadership is supposed to be approached. What's the bigger goal? And once you find what the bigger goal is, then you need to be strategic in your thinking. And with that, those are the three CEOs who have served in Safaricom, and at least one of them is still serving. I think 3 or 4. Yeah, and they're actually 3. And how far they have transformed Safaricom to. It would be good to study other CEOs of the companies that have been great in Kenya, and I'll bring you a report on their leadership styles and what they have achieved so far. Thank you so much. My name is Gishuru Irungu. If you like this kind of content, kindly subscribe, click the like button, and share this video with somebody who would like to hear about the successes of companies in Kenya and in Africa in general. Adios. God bless you.